Welcome to Sew and Tell, where sewists from fashion, theater, and indie sewing bring their different perspectives to the hottest topics in the sewing community. I'm Meg Healy.
I'm Kate Zaynard.
And I'm Amanda Carestio. Today on the podcast, we're talking about the beauty of basics with a very special guest, Adrianna of Hey June Handmade. Adrianna, we are so excited to have you on the show today. We will each share a little something in our SewJo segment, and then we'll ask everyone to share something too. But before we get started, how's everyone doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Managed to not do any sewing over the weekend, but I did some sewing last week, so I'm not in too bad a shape.
And Meg, you're full steam with work sewing things, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't do any because my weekend was like a sewing film sandwich because I filmed on Friday and then I'm filming, we're recording today, it's Monday. Oh man, I wish it was already this Friday because I'm exhausted, but it's been super fun. But over the weekend, I was going to do some sewing, but I decided to go to my friend's pool instead and have a margarita. So I think that helped. But I wore a me-made bathing suit, which was always good. So yeah.
Nice.
How about you, Adrianna? How are you doing? How's your weekend?
Actually, I'm just sitting here like a deer in the headlights because I'm so impressed you guys remember what you did 2 days ago.
Oh, geez.
I'm like, wait, what did I do this week?
Sometimes I have to make notes.
Oh my gosh.
Because I know we're going to talk about the weekend and gotta refresh my memory.
Our very favorite, well, I shouldn't say that. Hopefully no one else listens to this in my neighborhood, but our very favorite neighbors right next door are moving, which is really sad, but they're giving us their play set. So we cleared a spot in the yard. It was very grapes of wrath. And then we used a big tractor to lift up the entire thing. And all the neighbors got involved. So we did do that. I remember that.
Fun.
That's a big project.
It was fun.
Well, very cool.
How about you, Amanda? What do your notes say?
Oh my gosh. I wish I could forget this weekend existed. I've been sick on the couch.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
But, I'm not very good at sitting still. So it's always a good lesson when I just kind of have to. I did get caught up on the Umbrella Society. So, which I think we were talking about. We talked about last week. It might have not been on the show, but we were talking about all of the awesome kind of period clothing inspiration, and I'm definitely feeling it. So,
right? Did you make it to season 2 to see all those?
I just started season 2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You're so lucky you didn't have to wait between season 1 and season 2. That was a hard wait.
I really am. I'm loving it. Well, shall we hop into our first segment? I'm kind of dying to talk about basics. All right. Well, I, for one, am happy to see that basics have become important in home sewing. When I was growing up and kind of learning how to sew, it was all about the special occasions and the dresses. And, no one talked about sewing jeans. Just never crossed my mind until like a couple of years ago, honestly. But there's been a pretty big shift in recent years with a focus more on wearable, everyday wardrobe. And I'm loving that. And I kind of want to dig into that a little bit. But Adrianna, I just wanted to say first, before we kind of dig in, you've had a really big summer of new pattern releases. You had the Greer, the C4th pants, and the Vero beach set. So just wanted to start there and say, congratulations. I feel like you were busy.
Thanks. I was definitely busy, but I think it's also a little bit of a misconception because what actually happened is that I got pushed back a little bit because of COVID and my kids all coming home in March. So the work was still continuing, but testing was pushed back. And then when I started testing, testers had a hard time finding fabric.
Oh, right.
So
Totally.
I think it was the Greer that testing extended another couple weeks. So basically everything just kind of dogpiled. So it wasn't so much like work. It was just everything got piled on. And I really wanted to get the Vero Beach out while there was still some warm weather. So.
Oh, I love that set. Like the idea of a woven pullover is just so superb and awesome. Love it so, so much. Well, let's dive in, because I know, Adrianna, from following you and knowing a little bit about your design perspective, just seeing your collection and kind of reviewing it again in advance of this conversation, that you are a big, big supporter of basics. So question for you and question for the whole group. Why do you love sewing basics so much?
I was thinking about this question, and I think it just goes back to the very beginning of my sewing journey. I think I just approached sewing as something that should be practical from day one, and it never occurred to me that people were sewing so that they could create things that they couldn't buy in stores, which kind of looking back and kind of thinking about that seems really silly to me now. Like, of course you would want to sew the things that you can't buy. And I was all like, I want to sew the things that look like they're from Target. So I don't know where that mentality came from, although it's very fitting for my personality. But from day one, I kept thinking, okay, I want to learn how to sew. My mom helped me go buy like a big 4 A-line skirt just to get started. And I kept looking through the patterns, and I was like, I would never wear any of these in everyday life. I was like, well, where are the knit tees? And there were a couple knit tees, but they kind of had, I don't want to say retro, but just kind of the fit wasn't what was in style at the time. And so I was like, well, that's not how a t-shirt would fit that you would buy from a store. So that's actually how I got started designing patterns, is I was like, we need patterns that look like the clothes that we wear. And that's why my first one was a raglan tee, and the second one was a set and sleeve tee with a V-neck or a scoop neck, because I just hadn't seen those things out there for general consumption yet. So for me, it really started from day one, and it took me a long time to realize that people sewed for different reasons, and I was probably in the minority.
Yeah, I wonder if, big 4 pattern companies at that time were just thinking, well, if people are going to sew, they want to sew something that looks really special and different from what you could find in the store. Whereas you were on the other end of the spectrum, wanting to sew those things because you knew you would wear them and love them. So is it particularly rewarding to sew basics, do you guys think?
I really love sewing basics. I'm a lot like you were saying in your little intro. When I first started sewing, of course, I was sewing costumes. So that was very much about sewing things you couldn't find in stores.
Right.
But when I thought about sewing for myself, it really did tend to be, if you're going to put the effort in, sew something that's like special, right? And once I ended up here at Sew News and started looking at sewing things that were maybe something that you would just wear every day, I discovered, oh my gosh, I can spend some time working on something and then I can wear it a lot instead of looking for an opportunity to wear it. I am sold.
Right.
Yeah, totally. I love sewing basics now. Yeah, because for me, I like a twist on a basics. Like I like a basic, white shirt for me would have like lime green top stitching or like a lime green like neckband or something. So it's kind of like a bit of both, but definitely got into sewing with like, those special occasion, like you think of when your mom makes you like the prom dress and like that. It's like, I remember when I started to sew, all those different things and being shopping and looking inside garments in my closet, be like, I can totally make this too. And yeah, but I love making them now, especially just putting a little twist on it, because I love like just like that unique basics too, where it's still like you can't get it in store, but it's still like super wearable. And and they're pretty usually, well, not like jeans and stuff, but like knit tops and stuff. Like they're so easy and fast, and you can wear them. Like you actually wear them again and again, which is super cool.
Definitely. Basics definitely speak to my practical side.
Yeah.
Which I think, I don't know, really sounds so boring, but I think it really like ignited something in me when I started sewing them and when I kind of came back to sewing. And I think I had a similar realization, Kate, that like, people are sewing stuff that they can wear every day. And that was, I don't know, that really spoke to me and reignited my love for sewing. But honestly, I do think that this sounds really silly, but I feel like whenever, especially when I was buying ready to wear, like whenever I had a favorite thing, I was scared to wear it because I was scared I was going to ruin it somehow, like either being a messy eater or getting like a rip in it, and I would kind of like parcel it out and try to, not wear it every day. And now I just feel with sewing, like, I don't know, I don't want to be, I'm not careless with my clothes, and I definitely take good care of them. But I also like that pressure's gone a little bit because I could recreate something if I needed to, if disaster were to strike or my kids were to give me like a catch-up hug or something, which definitely is a thing and it happens. So for that reason, yeah, I love sewing basics.
I give myself those hugs all the time.
Oh my gosh. I'm coffee, ketchup.
Oh, everything. Yeah.
I'm a magnet.
I really like that you're talking about kind of the freedom that comes from being able to sew your own basics, because I think that is a really big part of it. And there's different elements to that freedom too. Like I think about freedom from buying any ready to wear, freedom from supporting sweatshops, and fast fashion. And you can't fully remove yourself from that equation without being able to sew a t-shirt. So I think that there's so much. No itchy tags. I mean, that's actually a really big deal because I have a daughter who has sensory issues. Oh. And I mean, that's another huge element of freedom that's involved with being able to sew that kind of thing.
Totally.
When even you cut those tags out, there's still some pokey bits.
Yes, and then you can't hand them down.
You have to my mom always gets them I have to get my stitch ripper out and then like research the seam. Like, so funny. Yeah.
I don't know about you all, but I definitely feel like patterns, garments really, on the simple side, it's actually kind of complicated why something is your favorite. It's got your favorite neckline shape, your favorite ratio of sleeve length. It's actually, I feel like because there are less design elements to kind of, to work with, that each of those decisions become, and each of those elements become even more important. And so that led me to think about kind of how do you find the right basics for yourself? Do you go about researching it? Meg, I was thinking about the work that you did recently comparing the 3 different skirt patterns. Do you guys have thoughts on that?
For me, I kind of have an idea of the kind of look that I like. And then I just look for things that kind of fit that mold and kind of make my decisions based on, does this look like it's going to be roomy enough around the rib cage? Is it, not too tight around the hips because I have very flared hips, and those various things. It's mostly, for me, it's mostly find something that looks like I might like it, then try it and find out if I do. A lot of trial and error for me.
Yeah, I would say the same thing as Kate. Like, I think it's probably the same as kind of when you're looking for any garment is, you know what suits you, you know what you feel comfortable wearing. So there'll be trends that will come and I'll think, wow, that's so cute. But I know that I personally wouldn't feel comfortable wearing it for whatever reason. I don't like wearing things that are tight on top. I don't like wearing things that have a defined waistline usually. And I don't like wearing high-waisted pants or shorts. So
I am so with you.
Those things, I'm really short-waisted, so that all kind of plays into that. You have to be so careful.
It's all making sense now.
Amanda and Meg are just like huge fans of the high-waisted things, and I'm always alone here.
Total opposite. Yeah.
Yep.
According to the size charts, my waist, even though I'm 5'7", my waist is 2 inches shorter than an average like use the word average, but 5'5" height. So I would have to alter things so much. And sometimes that's possible, but sometimes when you alter it, then it's like the waistband, if I bend in any way, is touching my bra. This is not,
yes,
it's not comfortable. It's not how it's meant to be. Let me just not follow along with this trend.
See little straps on, you could just make it a little overall.
It's basically overalls at that point.
I feel so vindicated right now. I'm not the only one.
I'm so happy for you. I'm
People
happy
with
for you,
long
Kate.
torsos really pull it off well, and I think it looks great. It's just, I think it's okay to know what you like and what you don't like.
Oh, for sure. And that's the beauty of sewing. I mean,
absolutely.
you make what you want. Yeah. For me, finding patterns, but I always look to what I already have. Like, you know, there's that one t-shirt from this brand that you like, and I like copy the pattern and like, or at least like the fit or like the length. And, you know, you can really easily, without even taking it apart, just, you know, lay it on some paper and using a tracing wheel to trace inner seams, like the armhole shape and the neckline and all that. And even like underwear, like I have this one underwear that I'm obsessed with, and I took it apart, and like now I've made like 20 of them. I just mass cut and it's just, I kind of look to see what I already have to, or at least like a base of measurements off of it if I find a similar pattern. But so yeah, that's what I do.
I love that idea. I definitely do a lot of research on Instagram too. I think I've been really loving the kind of, I can't remember the exact hashtag, but basically the movement where people are putting their body measurements in their bio just to kind of give some scale, which I think is, I've used it quite a bit. You know, something will pop up under a hashtag and I'll go check out the measurements. And if they're similar to mine, then that can give me a little bit of an idea of how things will work for me. And I find that really useful, but I'm also team make a bunch of different versions of something and see which one suits you. Because, I mean, if it's a t-shirt, it's going to get worn either way. Whether it's my favorite, my absolute favorite or not, it's definitely still going to be of use to me. Speaking of that, I am in double digits for a number of patterns. Like I have made patterns 15 times.
Wow.
And I tend to go, like, especially if it's something really basic, I tend to go back in, like you were saying, Meg, and customize it in some way with an easy hack, you know, nothing monumental, but just so it feels less like I'm wearing a uniform, although I'm not really anti-uniform either. So I don't know how many is too many when it comes to that. And is anyone else in that same special club with me?
Do you wear them all?
I do.
Well, see, I think that's fine then. I mean, I think I might be at about 9 for one of my favorite patterns, but wait. No, I think it's just 8. Anyway, I don't know. If I find something that I really like, I will sew it again and again until I can wear one every day between laundry days if I have to. And I think that's okay.
The note that I took on this question was exactly the same. I was like, will you wear it? I really think it's so personal. It depends so much on your personality and also your lifestyle. Like if you're traveling a lot, you might want to have a lot of one thing if it packs easily, because you can't, if you're on a business trip or vacation, it's very obvious if you're wearing the exact same thing every day. Or if you're someone who works from home, then maybe you're just energized by putting on a new and different outfit every day. Everybody's different, especially right now in this time of COVID, like finding what's going to motivate you every day is so varied for each person. Like Amanda said, I'm fine with a uniform. I'm fine wearing something all day and then sleeping in it and wearing it all the next day until it smells too much. So I don't get my motivation from changing my clothes. I get my motivation from coffee. So
yep.
I don't, what I'm trying to say is I don't need that many. And in fact, it was kind of a fun exercise because we recently moved into our new house, which is not finished yet. And I had this personal goal to be able to fit all of my clothes into my closet, which shouldn't have been hard. It's a decent sized closet. But I feel like we're so used to having things that are in storage for different seasons, and I didn't want that. I was like, if it doesn't fit, it's not going to stay. So I did it, and I have everything from bathing suits to ski jackets in that one closet, and all the shoes, accessories, everything.
Wow.
But that really allowed me to see what I am lacking, which is nothing, and what I have a lot of. And it was really interesting because I would say knit tees are my very favorite thing, but I have one drawer of knit tees and that's it. I have 3 drawers of hoodie type situation, like mid-layer pieces knits. So I was like, this seems excessive, but I couldn't find a single one that I was willing to part with.
Yeah. Well, those are bulkier, so it's like equivalent.
Yeah, that's true. I like it.
Yeah.
Justice for knits.
Totally.
But then I was thinking about my lifestyle, and I was like, in Colorado, there's a good 9 months out of the year where I'll throw one of these on.
Totally.
And there's also a good part of the winter here where they work as a winter jacket because the temps here on the Front Range are really not that bad. So I was like, I think I can justify this, but it was very interesting to see because I wouldn't have guessed that up front, that's where my double digits were.
Oh, I'm definitely in that. I think I have like 10 of that in tarot shell. And I was wearing the dress version all yesterday. But yeah, I know I love putting on something new. I remember this. It just came up for me. I have a memory of we had like a friend over, Julian's friend over for dinner. And like he just had come in the evening too. And he's like, Meg, since I've been here, you've had 4 outfit changes. For me, it's like I was cooking and then I was getting hot and then I got cold and then I was like wanted to get comfy after eating. And he was like, I've been here in the evening and you had 4 outfits on. And I was like, yeah, I do love outfits. Like I love an outfit change. Oh yeah. But yeah, definitely getting up in the double digits, those in tarot. Because I have like a comfy one. I have like a dressy one. Like I have one like that Antero shell is so versatile. So fancy tops to like really basic. Yeah. I just love it. Yeah, for you, you can find that key. I love the way it hits my arm. Like that was like the key, like the perfect just like way it drapes on me. So you just change like little things, add a band, lengthen it change the neckline. So cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say too, like I've made double digits of a couple things, but I think I've like taken a few out of rotation because they've gotten kind of, ratty or tatty. And I tend to, but all of that being said, I have way too many clothes. Like it's a real problem. And probably because I find something that I like and make it again and again and again. So
yeah, I'm the way where if I sew something and I really like I try it on, I sometimes immediately, right after, just cut another one. Just immediately after.
Well, I mean, if it's fresh on your brain and, you have you've found that you made it and you're wearing it immediately, so it works for you, then I do that too. I definitely, you guys know, when I buy a pattern, I want to make it like at least 3 times. Like that's a worthy investment for me. But that just, that means I have a lot of clothes. It's bad.
Well,
very, very bad.
You just buy more hangers. That's what I
did.
do.
I just bought more hangers.
Yes.
It's perfect. All right. Question for everyone. Is there a category that is hard for you to find that perfect basic? Is there a perfect basic that you are still searching for?
Well, mine was shorts. I wear shorts all summer and I had about 1 pair left. So I don't know how I made it through last summer, but then I made that pattern this year, the Vero Beach set, which has shorts, and I made 6 of them, which I normally don't even do when I'm testing a pattern. So now I'm set, and I can't say that there's anything that I still need or I'm searching for. I will say there are things I haven't made. I have never made a bra. And I know I should. I know that they're easier than they look. I just haven't been motivated to make one because I feel like the ones that I buy are so like hyper engineered, and there's so much like scaffolding and like teams involved and like
scaffolding.
I feel like I don't want to recreate this in a substandard way, which I feel like would happen if I tried. So I don't know. I think it's okay to have something that you're just like, nope, I don't want to make that.
Definitely.
And as a sewist, like, it's totally okay not to like feel like you have to make like, I totally agree. Like I've made one and I didn't really enjoy this experience that I was like, I don't think I'm going to make one again. Like, and it's like, okay. Like I love the bras that I buy because they're wireless, but they have like, they're exactly engineered, like little, like, foam things that don't have any wires, but they're still I couldn't make that. And I'm fine with it. Totally. But undies and thongs I will make. They're very easy.
Well, I'm in the never made a bra category over here as well. As for me, I'm still looking for some like winter pants that I really like, long pants. I always have trouble fitting pants. I still haven't gotten around to working on my pants sloper this year. So I've got another, 4.5 months to get that resolution even started.
It'll be, the third episode in a row of our resolution episode.
Yes. I'll be making it my resolution again.
It's okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I am. I have a couple of pairs of summer pants of sort of cropped pants that I like and I'm comfortable in, but I haven't been able to find the equivalent in full length. I feel like full length pants have to be a little bit more fitted. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm doing a sewing along tomorrow with our new pair of pants that's coming out in an upcoming issue. That's the October issue. November.
Yep.
So we're gonna find out how those work for me, and we can go from there.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm with you on the bra sewing thing. I'm following somebody on Instagram who was just commenting on how really expensive it is to get all the bra making supplies. And like, I don't know, for all of those reasons, a lot of pressure.
That's why I don't sew corsets.
Yeah. Expensive as well.
Yeah. I can sew corsets. I know how, but getting all of the proper supplies, it's just not worth it.
Agreed. I feel like I'm pretty well covered for basics. I've got like a skinny leg pant, got a wide leg pant. I think for me, it's like venturing out from there is sometimes the hardest part. But I will say I'm kind of always shopping for a new t-shirt pattern. Like
me too.
But I think it's because there's so many like subtle differences between t-shirts that you need more than one, So I'm always like, oh, there's a new t-shirt pattern. I'm going to have to check it out because I don't even know what my ideal is. I just like the journey, I guess.
I'm the exact same way. I feel like t-shirts are they're my favorite thing to sew. So I'm just naturally drawn to all the different styles as they come out. And it's just so fascinating to me where it'll be like, the slightest like half-inch drop shoulder and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's so different. I need that. Or,
genius. Exactly.
Yeah, or the V-neck is a little bit rounded on the sides as it goes up instead of kind of straight. And I'm like, well, I need to do that. And then I feel like I'm cheating on my patterns and I don't have time and so I'm like, oh, I could just hack that. But if I was just a regular sewist who wasn't also doing this as a career, I would buy all the t-shirt patterns and make all of them. I love them.
Yeah, definitely. I'm on a t-shirt hunt too, 100%. I also need like a good cardigan pattern. I haven't found like a good kind of just like easy, like I made one, but it just doesn't, the sleeves are almost too wide. I don't know. I need that's like a basic pattern that I'm missing in my wardrobe. Might need to ask my cardigan queen over here for some suggestions.
And I actually have the same problem. I don't have a cardigan that I really love either. So it's all up to you, Amanda.
Oh gosh. I've been on a cardi band. I don't even know about the new cardigans out there, but I'll try to help.
Well, fall is coming up in another month, so I have a lot of faith in you getting caught up.
Yeah, probably so. Question for everyone. How often do you sew or replace basics? Like, I think that I do occasionally make them seasonally, just knowing that, like if I need to retire one, that I want to replace it. Do you have a cycle for that?
I think I also just kind of wait, especially for like things like t-shirts or like jogger pants, for them to wear out or all the seams to fall out. Sometimes they get distorted depending on the fabric. But I usually wait for things to wear out just because I like to keep my wardrobe pretty small, and it's already difficult with all the samples I have to sew. So it's an ongoing dilemma in my life of how can I have kind of a curated wardrobe, but also I need to sew these things for my job, but then I don't want to get rid of them. It's a whole thing. But they're also not what I want to wear all the time anyway. So yeah, I think I tend to just wait, except that, the one exception is if I find really great fabric, and then I love to use that for a basic because it shows it off. And then that's how I end up with 3 drawers of hoodies.
Exactly.
I think mine's really, it kind of ties into the way I sew, which is kind of impulse sewing. Like right now I'm kind of on a loose fitting linen shirt run because I have my pile of linen that I'm actually making a dent in now. And what I want to wear right now is loose fitting tops. And that's what I keep reaching for. And then I get mad when I don't have any left in my clean clothes. So that means that I need to make more, obviously. So that's kind of how I decide when I'm going to do what I'm going to do. It's sort of, I have different, I like different things, different years. Like last year I was really into the pony stuff. This year I'm more into some different styles, and I don't know. It's impulse sewing for me. Everything's impulse sewing.
We had an article once, and I'll have to see if I can dig it up, but it was basically about how basics are a good way to kind of participate in trends, particularly color and print, without being fully committed, to just have a piece that kind of is updated for the season. And I really kind of like that. Like if you don't want to fully commit to leopard print, although I don't know who you are, then, you can make a t-shirt and just have a little touch of that and also kind of try it out, see if that color or that print is something that, you want to explore further for yourself. So that has kind of always stuck with me. I don't personally do that. I should, but I thought that was a great tip for t-shirts in particular.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only replace a basic when that one stain hits that doesn't come out.
Yeah.
There's always that a greasy stain, and then it's just I try and soak it right away, and then I give it to Julian to do the laundry, and then it doesn't come out, and I try. It's just that, and that's when it hits, because it's always a stain is always my downfall. Or if it's in a place where a pocket could go over it, then I can just try and or if it's on the sleeve, I could try and take off the sleeve. I try and work it as best I can, and then go from there. But
yes, I'm currently moving a pocket on a collared shirt because my cat tore a hole in the other side. So I was like, but I can move the pocket. Yeah, I'm gonna see if it works. Hopefully the fabric hasn't faded and less underneath the pocket. We'll see. It's worth an experiment.
It'll totally just be a style feature if it has, though.
Yeah,
you've seen
it's
those?
true.
Like, you can buy them that have kind of that faded pocket.
That like faded pocket.
People pay good money for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, one final question, and then we'll take a quick break. It totally depends on the type of garment, but do you have a favorite way to kind of hack your basics or to give them like a quick upgrade? I'm a big fan of color blocking. Like I feel like
that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's win-win if you can like use your scraps, if you can get a new garment. I mean, totally unique and different garment that you cannot buy in the store, but is still wearable. And I like messing around with like the shape of sleeves quite a bit.
You stole my answers. So
Sorry.
I don't know what you're in a situation.
Those are probably like the most common ones.
Yeah, well, they're common for a reason. Like color blocking is just it's a simple hack if you're not familiar with pattern drafting. It's fairly easy for anybody to do. You can do it almost anywhere on a garment. Last winter, I just color blocked the very top of a sleeve cap for kind of a basic sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just put 2 little stripes in there, and you can use any 2 colors that you want. So you could do like sports teams, your school,
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was just like the tiniest little pop of color.
Things.
And I wore that every day that it was clean last year. And then, like you said, sleeves are so easy. I love changing the volume of sleeves, length of sleeves. For my kids, more so than myself, I'll do like a ruffle or a puffed sleeve if it's supposed to be a straight sleeve. So yeah, anything that you can kind of get away with not muslining. I enjoy.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
The best way to like upgrade a basic too is just just the fabric too. Like a basic like woven t-shirt in like a leather or like a sequin, like just changing the fabric to like a really fancy fabric can also like elevate it a lot. Like I love a leather t-shirt, even like a leather sports short or just the fabric. You don't even have to really do like I guess maybe you can a closure consideration or something, but I love doing that too.
That's such a good point. I love that.
Absolutely.
Call back to your cardigan. If you guys have a good t-shirt that fits you, you can make a cardigan with a t-shirt very easily. I've done that a few times, and it's one of the easiest hacks. So I would say if you have, it doesn't even have to be a long sleeve shirt to start with, although that's helpful. But if you have a shirt that you really like how kind of like the shoulder seam, arm's eye, fits you, very easy hack.
Oh, I'm going to look that up.
Intriguing.
I see more cardigans in my future. Well, that was awesome. I love basics. They're so amazing and fun and rewarding. And this is definitely getting me a little bit more excited about a subject we're going to talk about a little bit more in depth next, some fall and winter sewing. So let's take a quick break and then we'll come back with that.
Hopefully, we have all had time to sew and wear our spring and summer basics, but now it's time to perhaps think about planning and sewing for those cooler seasons. So let's swap in that double gauze for double knits and dive into fall and winter basics. So what would you like classify as a fall and winter basic? Like I thought like a coat, a pants, a cardigan, which I'm on the search for, like a hoodie. For me, definitely a turtleneck and even some like loungewear. Like what would be your what would you classify as like a winter basic?
I am so not ready for this conversation.
Oh no.
I mean, I don't mean I'm not prepared for the conversation. It's just you started talking about fall and I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Honestly, especially for fall, I'm a huge fan of like mid-length sleeve shirts.
That's a good
so
point.
not like all the way to the wrist, which I never do either because I'm also a monkey and I've got extra length on my arms, so nothing ever stays. But something that'll like a 3/4 length sleeve or a half length. I love those for fall.
I really love a more casual collared button-up shirt.
Oh yes.
I just love to explore like all the different fabrics that you can use for that style shirt. So they take a little bit longer to sew, but I think they still qualify as a basic because I think they go with everything.
Totally.
And they're so easy to layer.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that because that's what I'm literally filming right now. This morning I showed how to sew like a sleeve placket, but the thing with that is just I just don't know what I haven't figured out on me what the perfect bottom to a button-up shirt is yet. Like, do I tuck it into my high-waisted like pants with elastic waist? Do I wear a skirt? Like, I haven't like figured it out yet because I have all my high waist. Or do I like do a little French? I don't know. I need to experiment more, but definitely a bit. I love sewing them, so I definitely want to work them into my wardrobe. I think I just need to have like a try-on day or something.
Take pictures of yourself. I think that helps a lot.
Oh,
to kind of visualize, because you can't really, I don't know, you can see in a mirror, obviously, but I think it's a little different when you take a picture of yourself. I can't help you with the high-waisted styling situation.
Oh, no, I know.
But I love to wear mine open over like a graphic tee with jeans.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even
like,
think about wearing it open. I did not even think about that. That's
more for like the flannel ones or like the double cloth ones that I have. But yeah, and I like to do like the French shirt, like half tuck. I do that a lot because I'm short-waisted. So I have to be like, here, I have a waist. It's here.
It's here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Oh, go ahead.
No,
Kate.
you go ahead, Amanda. I've already talked.
Oh, I was going to say about collared shirts. We've talked about this a little bit, Meg. Like, we both love to sew them, but wearing them is tricky. And so maybe it is just a matter of like the styling and figuring that out. Because I'm in the same boat. Like, whenever I wear them, I feel dressier than I mean to, and I don't know how to balance that out with something else. So I need to work on it because I really love the process of sewing collared shirts, and I love buttons. I am like becoming a vintage button collector over here, and I need to use them on something, but I just don't. I don't know. I don't wear them as much. Need to figure that out.
I know. Yeah, people on the TV just look so like effortless. Like I was like, why can't I wear a button-up shirt? Like if you were watch like even like lawyer shows or just like a rom-com, it's like their office scene, like everywhere wears button-ups. Like so, I was like, if I like, I don't know, like even if I see it on anybody, I just we'll figure it out.
We'll work on it. We'll get through it together.
We'll get through it.
Well, moving on from button-up shirts, I was actually going to say I think a great fall basic is leggings.
Oh,
you're right.
Yes.
So right.
100%.
Like a tunic length top, some leggings. It's so good. Yeah.
Well, and what we were talking about skirts, with our last episode, like if you
like a winter skirt,
if you're going to wear skirts, you have to figure out how you're going to layer it up. So leggings are a good way to do that.
I just thought of a look. Okay. Picture this. Leggings.
Uh-oh.
Cute, like pattern legging. I have lots of cool pattern leggings, like nice black leather boots. And then like a t-shirt or something, and then like a button-up shirt, but like oversized and then like open. I think I could pull that. I mean, like a long dangly like necklace or something.
I love it.
I think I could do that. That would be like a basic look. That could be my look for that. That seems like a comfy look for that.
We have a hack in the October-November issue that takes a really basic button-up collared shirt and extends it into like a full-length jacket. So it's like kind of like a chore coat look.
Yes.
But more of like the drama of like a trench. And I really love that. And, wear it open, wear it layered, do it in a fabric that's like maybe a little bit thicker, heavier than you would normally sew a button-up shirt. And that was really inspiring me there. For a minute.
That's a neat project. On the hanger, I was just like, it just looks like a shirt. And then, we put it on the model and I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah. I love that project. Love that project.
Are there any carryover basics from spring, summer that could be, utilized in the fall, winter wardrobe?
I mean, for me, the spring and the fall wardrobe aren't really that different because it's so much tied around temperature.
Right.
it's like sometimes you want kind of different colors in the spring and the fall, but for like the more neutrals and I just sew the colors I like. I don't really care if they fit into the appropriate season. So I kind of go back and forth. It's like spring and falls when I wear these certain clothes, and then it's too hot in the summer and it's too cold in the winter. And so,
yeah, I'm the same way. I just kind of found the colors that work for me and wear them all the time. Like if it's a knit tee or a tank top, then I just start layering it, like you said, with the button up over it open, or one of my mini hoodies, or I tend to run hot, so I don't like to do a lot of layers. But I do like a really oversized sweatshirt because I think that's comfy. I have my Brunswick pattern that I wear constantly because it's really oversized. And then depending on the weight, I can get away with it for running errands and stuff around the Front Range as a jacket. So I don't have to put something else over it. I don't know. I think I use most of my clothes year round, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, Colorado weather can be kind of like, even in the winter, I've traveled there so many times at all different times of the year. It can be like one day could be like a completely different temperature than the next day, like even in January. Like it's crazy.
And then sometimes it's 60 degrees in January, and then you come in May and it's snowing.
Yeah, I know. I remember when we had like the spring episode planned, and it was literally snowing. And it was May. That was we're all like, well, let's talk about spring.
Yeah,
I'm wearing like a turtleneck.
Winter coats.
When we first moved to Colorado, I had a friend who already lived here, and she was like, "Okay, don't pack away your clothes, but leave one pair of shorts out because you will wear them in February." And she was right. Every year, there's at least one day.
I know. Yeah. I think that's part of the reason I feel like I have so many clothes, because I don't really put them in storage. I just keep them all out because I will wear my linen pants as far into the fall as I can. I will be like, pushing it early December probably with some of my thicker linen pants, and then put them away for a couple months. But definitely that. And I do like to layer. I think that's what I love about cardigans, is because you can, you can wear your tanks year round if you have cardigans, because you can just put them under it and layer them up a little bit. And because I guess there was a part of me that just didn't really want to get to the point where I had summer clothes and winter clothes, because that felt like too many clothes. It has happened, and I'm okay with it. But I do like to get as much wear, especially if you've got, favorite things. I say wear them whenever.
Did you make the cardigan you're wearing, Amanda, right now?
I did. It's oh my gosh, my brain is not working. It's my favorite cardigan by Grain Line Studio.
Oh, Drift.
Yes, that is exactly what it is.
I love it.
I love the pockets on that one.
Yes. Yep. This is actually the first one I made, and I love it. I wear it a whole bunch.
I'm like seeing you over the computer, and you look just so, and it's like a nice shoulder line. I've just been staring. I've got my eyes on the cardies.
Yes. I think it's like would be considered like a grandpa style cardigan. It's kind of
that's what I want. That's what I want.
That's a good one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
For sure.
I was gonna before I go to the next question, it kind of I was wondering, I was gonna ask you, Amanda, because you really inspired me to really sew with like basically everything linen. So all my stuff, like I was going to ask you, do you wear or sew with linen in the fall? Like how does it fall?
That's a good question. Like I said, I'll push it probably farther than I should. And there's also, there's a bunch of different weights of linen out there. Yeah. I haven't really experimented too much with heavyweight linen, but that's been on my goal list because, for a while my goal was to be able to wear linen all year round. Yeah. So I think there's usually a point in fall turning to winter when linen doesn't make much sense here. I think it's largely like when it gets like windy, because linen is so breathable. Yes. As soon as it gets windy, you're going to feel it. You're going to be cold. But
yeah,
I don't have any major tricks for that. Although, I mean, you could layer it up, you could line it,
I'm just thinking.
But
I guess like with a dress, I could wear like tights underneath.
Totally,
it. Or, like,
with a dress.
I have, with this, I was just thinking, like some of my favorite pants I've been making up in linen, or I might just need to put them away they can go like have a little nap and so that leads me into my next question. Like, what would you call like your fall winter base fabrics? Like, what are your favorite fabrics to use for your fall basics?
I really love cotton lycra French terry. Because I've used it for quite literally everything. I've made so last year I released the Sheridan pattern, which kind of has a dramatic sleeve, and one of the options for the neckline is a built up bateau. I made that pattern. I still don't know how to pronounce that word. Neckline.
That's okay.
But I deal in text, you guys. So
we get
it. That to me felt like kind of pushing the limits of that fabric in terms of how dressed up it can be. But I released kind of a free dress add-on for that pattern, and I made it with that fabric, and it worked great. I thought it was great. But I also use it for pretty much all of my sweatshirts, hoodies, sweaters, cardigans. I have 5 pairs of True Bias Hudson pants made out of it. It's fantastic. I have not made underwear with it yet, so maybe that's a challenge.
Now, what kind of French terry was it, did you say?
It's cotton lycra. I like the cotton versus the polyester for obvious reasons. I just like a natural fiber. And then I feel like the lycra adds so much to it, just in terms of recovery, because a lot of times, like especially with Hudson's and that kind of thing, then the knees and the butt can kind of bag out a little bit. And, elbows and stuff like that. So I really like how it keeps its shape. But it's not always what you're going for. But if you are, that's a great one.
I love that tip because I love French terry as well, but I've had such a mixed experience with it, particularly buying it online. Like sometimes you get it and it's super thin and super drapey and super stretchy, and sometimes it's barely stretchy at all, which is like your worst nightmare for a sweatshirt. So I probably need to pay closer attention to the to what it's made from, and I will sort that out. But I like that tip. I'll look for some cotton lycra blend.
Yeah, and they make, blends that have rayon in them. I think those are great too, but they'll be really thin and drapey, like you're saying. So that would make like a really good kind of like oversized shawl wrap kind of a thing. Or if you're trying to turn a basic t-shirt into kind of like a nicer fall or winter layering piece. You would maintain the drape, but have a little bit more heft.
Yeah. What do you like to sew with Kate in the fall?
I like to sew with flannel. I know I don't know. It's just so cozy to climb into a flannel shirt in the end. And, that's what I like to do. And, honestly, one of my big things is I don't sew for winter a lot. I mostly just wear ready-to-wear sweaters. And so maybe what I need to do is find some good sweater knits and start doing some nice sweaters.
Yeah, like that's one of my, I always pick up some sweater knits for when I'm all about the turtleneck. I love a turtleneck. Especially like a form-fitting one that I can layer. I think even last year I stretched out a jumpsuit into the fall by just putting a turtleneck under it. But I love, and I'm excited. Like for now, I find that I like shopping for fall and winter fabric at a fabric store. So luckily, I don't have to rely on online fabric shopping as much as I did for my summer and spring because my local fabric shop is open. Because I feel like I need to really feel. I'm liking like sewing with Minky and stuff. I made just at the tail end of the cooler season last year. I made like a peach minky, like with a built up neckline kind of sweater. I made a baby blanket for my friend and I had leftover minky and I made like a really chic sweater out of it.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I'm just loving all the fuzzies for this coming season. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely like, I like denim and canvas, actually.
Oh, yeah, canvas. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I'm on the search for some really good canvas, and I'm just having a hard time finding it. Like, I have sewn, when I sewed for a local small clothing brand, I used this like a hemp canvas blend, and I really liked it because it was drapey, it was soft, but it was pretty tight weave, so it was going to be warm, but breathable. So I don't know, I'm on the hunt for that. Plus I'm definitely feeling like I'm ready for some fall overalls, and I like a canvas overall quite a bit. So I like bottom weight fabrics, I think, for fall and winter.
Yeah. So do we have any go-to patterns for sewing for the cooler weathers? Like, do we have any TNTs?
I have a bazillion. Or maybe I don't, and maybe I have a few that I just make a bazillion times. I have made the Hemlock Tee by Grainline Studio probably more than any other pattern I've made. That's the one that I'm way up in double digits for, because I've made it a bunch of different fabrics. I've done subtle hacks. I've added a peplum. I've played with the sleeves a whole bunch. And it's a drop shoulder, which I tend to like. And that's one I go back to over and over again. Also, the Lander pants by True Bias is, I don't know, those are just a really good fit for me. They're definitely in the high-waisted category.
Yep.
But I don't know, that's when I'm actually going to make a few new pairs this fall and replace ones that I made a couple years ago that are starting to wear down. So those are definitely part of my basic fall winter wardrobe. On the cardigan side, I definitely like the driftless, and as well as the Esme Maxi cardigan, which by Named Clothing, and that is it's like a long, it's a maxi length cardigan, and I just love it so much because it's a basic, but it is got a little bit of drama because of the length, but I'm definitely struggling with how many maxi cardigans does one need? Well, because they're so cozy. Like, I've made one in kind of a sporty fabric, and so it's almost got like a maxi sweatshirt robe vibe, and I love it so much. So trying to figure that one out. And also the Monroe turtleneck by Dasuti Fabrics is also a free pattern, but I really love. That's like, it's got a nice balance of a pretty snug fit around the neck, but a nice boxy, flowy silhouette. So it feels a little bit, I don't know. It's got that boxy vibe, which you guys know I love. So those are probably like my top in those categories.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't have a big long list like Amanda, but I am going to call out my favorite of all time, the gallery tunic / dress from Liesl & Company, which is my go-to thing to wear in the fall, either in a nice cotton or in flannel, depending on how cold it is outside. So I love it. I always make the fold over collar because I made the stand-up collar once and it tickled my chin too much. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
It tickled my chin.
It makes me crazy. I hate having it. It just keeps touching me under the chin all the time.
Oh, I totally agree.
And it's like the fold one just stays away from my face and I'm happy. And I love the look of a mandarin collar. I adore the way mandarin collars look, but I cannot wear them. They make me crazy.
Kate, I think you and I, throughout the course of this conversation, I realized that I think we're probably style and garment and body twins, because everything that you say, I'm like, this is me.
That's amazing.
I'm kind of feeling the same way.
What I find myself wearing the most is some combination of a t-shirt, flannel button down, and or sweatshirt. So I do have patterns in my library that can make all of those three things, but I would say find anyone that fits you, that you're comfortable with the block if you've used that designer before. And if you can make those three things, then you can use them for pretty much anything. And they also work well together. So yeah, I guess that's my answer. We're talking about basics, so it's okay to be basic, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
For
and I will throw in
sure.
there that I love your Lane Raglan. I love a Lane Raglan t-shirt.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, I love any Raglan t-shirt, but I like yours a lot.
I like that one because it is more fitted, which I generally don't prefer, but I do like that one for layering. That's what I usually wear mine in the winter for layering underneath a Cheyenne, which is just a button down.
Well, and it has so many sleeve options. I love that about it, that you have all those choices.
Yeah, I'm all about the Nico. That's kind of like my one TNT, because that's I make that, and then I feel like all my other fall are like one-offs, like a cool like leopard jumper that I wear over it, or like a cool like pair of pants or something. But I'm always making like Nikos for my fall basics for sure.
That's a good one too.
Oh, that's I still haven't made a dress version of it yet. I was just thinking, here I am like thinking I want a fall dress pattern, and duh.
You've already got it. Yep.
I got it.
Such a gorgeous dress. I love that silhouette. That's the exact thing I cannot wear. I love it so much.
It can be just so chic.
Yeah.
Yes. I like the look of turtlenecks. I cannot wear them. I do not like having stuff touching my neck. It makes me real twitchy.
No.
Oh. Yeah, the key, was like a nice soft. You couldn't even have like, what if you had like a nice, buttery French cherry that was like hugging your neck?
I can have it kind of like flopping around my neck if I can
pull
it
like
away.
A cowl.
Like I can handle a cowl. I cannot handle something that's actually up against my neck.
Really?
I feel like I'm choking. Like none of my sweater. If you ever look at me, none of my sweaters have very much collars or anything. It's always I don't know. I don't like the sensation of things against my neck like that.
Like you're
For
being
me, I'm like, the turtle can never be high enough. Like if it doesn't like touch my nose, I'm like,
if I don't look like an actual turtle, I'm not happy.
I actually thought of this a couple weeks ago, but I didn't rethink of it again until now. Could a turtleneck flip up and be a face, like a mask?
Yes. Somebody did that with one of my patterns, and I was like, that is genius. And the only way that I would make a turtleneck is because it could be used like that. And when she had it done, it was kind of like a cowl. It was very almost like if you were wearing a gaiter around your neck. But when she pulled it up, it went all the way and it stayed around her ears. And I was like, you are a genius.
That is so cool.
That's amazing.
I'm definitely making some Nikos like that.
Yeah, and think you can
I'll have to check out that hack of yours too.
It was just with one of my free patterns, the Durango.
Even better.
It has kind of a higher neck to it, so you can just add up to it. But I was thinking, like, especially in this area, there's so many people who aren't me who work out a lot and who are always like in the mountains doing
so fit,
active.
Oh my gosh,
things
all the time.
But their problem is that, when you pass someone, you want to be respectful and cover your face, but you can't just have it up there all the time, or you don't need to. So I think that would be a great, if you made it out of like a really thin athletic fabric, that would work out.
Working them into actual making built-in masks to garments. That could be a whole new thing. A whole new basic, whole new really. World. It's like we're probably going to have to deal with this for, quite a while now. Right.
I've been trying to think of some kind of, I had the situation this past week where I've been using the kind of style of mask that you can't easily just pull off and let it hang anywhere. Like you have to hold it in your hand. And we were walking somewhere and it was a long walk and I was like, this is ridiculous. So it's like, what if there was some kind of like snap situation, like how you have the bra tabs in your shoulder seams, like just like a string or like kids mittens. I don't know where this is going, but this is where I'm at right now.
I've seen some folks make like a little leash for their mask so that when they took it off, it would just kind of hang, and then or like little like eyeglass holders or something like that. Yeah. There's got to be some kind of easy hack for that.
Well, if I may, my best friend is back. She works at a bridal store and she's back at work and she has to wear a mask all day. And her suggestion is she does the shaped mask with the channel on the sides instead of sewing the elastic right in there. And what she does is she uses a long piece and she runs it up through both sides and then knots it at the top. And then you can put the bottom loop around your neck and the top loop around your head. And if you want to take it off, you just pull the top loop and the whole thing just drops down and sits around your neck like a necklace.
Oh. I love it. I love that we're talking about this during the basics episode because that's what
it's
pretty much a new basic.
Yeah. Totally a new basic. It's great that it came around to this for sure. Because that's definitely a basic pattern that we all need.
Yeah, come to think of it, I sewed a mask this weekend. I forgot about that. I sewed two.
Oh my gosh!
That's what we do now.
Completely forgot I did that.
Oh yeah, the monster teeth like kids embroidery masks that are posted now in Sew Daily. So it's like Julian's favorite mask now, and he sometimes turns it like happy face, and then sometimes he turns it frown face. And oh my gosh, it's so he wears it to work, and everybody loves it. Like,
I'm going to need to see both of them.
I know. Yeah. Oh, he loves that mask. It's so funny. I know. Mask embroidery and stuff. Even oh my gosh, like a turtleneck when you put it up on your face, like there's embroidery on it that you don't. Oh my gosh, that's the options, man.
I love how this has basically become. I mean, it is a separate garment where everyone's kind of finding their best fit, and like, do they like the ears? Do they like the over the head?
Yep.
Like
what? Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so last question. Is there a fall or winter basic that you're wanting to make this year that you haven't before? So you found maybe a new basic, maybe your style has changed from last fall. Like, is there a new pattern release that's come out that you want to incorporate? So what are we making, girls?
Oh my gosh, I was just checking my list because you guys know I have a list already.
You do.
And I think overalls are going to be on my list this year. And I don't know if that's a basic, but
it is.
I don't know.
It can be a basic.
I feel like there are so many options now in patterns, and talk about a good piece that is usable almost year round. You know, you pair it with a tank top, you pair it with a t-shirt, you pair it with a Nico long sleeve. You know, there's really ways to make that work through multiple seasons. So that's on my list this year, I think, and it hasn't been before.
I was on the hunt all last winter for pumpkin orange stretch sweatshirt knit, which heads up for those of you looking, you can stop. It doesn't exist. I
hate that.
Oh my gosh. I finally found some from a European company and I paid like $700 for shipping.
Right.
It was worth it. But it's not quite as rich of a pumpkin that I was hoping. It's fine. But anyway, so my goal is to finally use that because by the time I got it, I think it was like late March. It was way too late. But I want to make a cruise sweatshirt from Chalk and Notch, like the cropped version with the hood, I think.
Cute.
I think I would wear that a lot.
It sounds so fall-y.
I know. I guess I am ready for some fall colors. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I have actually in my life that I can think of, I only ever sewn one cardigan, and it was a very lightweight one from my Vienna wardrobe, and it is only sort of usable depending on what sleeves I'm wearing, because the sleeves are so wide and long, because they're meant to like scrunch up, that if I'm not wearing long enough sleeves, they don't scrunch, and then they're flopping like 6 inches past the ends of my hands. And so I want to do a more standard style cardigan. And I have some fabric that I picked up back when Colorado Fabric closed that I always meant to be a cardigan. And so I'm going to use something from my stash.
Nice.
Nice bonus points.
Yeah.
Everything on my current list, and yes, I have a current list, is stash fabric.
Nice. I'm going to say, Amanda, where's that list?
Oh, I have like 47 lists. It's getting out of hand. What about you, Meg?
Oh, yeah. And I was just thinking, I went into this wanting a cardigan. Then as we were talking, I was like, you know what? I really want to make for fall. It's like a boiler suit.
Oh, yeah.
Like a winter, fall jumpsuit with like long sleeve, but not a fitted one. I don't want a fitted one. I want like, the brand like Dickies. They have like those like one of those looking like that, but you can like roll up the sleeves.
Kind of
like,
workwear.
Yeah. Like kind of the, what did you call it? Your UPS suit? Like that, but not in brown.
It is just hanging in my sewing space.
But it's so cute. I love
mocking
that
me.
I think you should go for it.
What's the fabric, Amanda? Is it linen?
It is. No, it's twill, and it is like UPS brown.
No, I know. You should. Yeah, you should dye it. You should dye it black.
Well, I did a little swatch test, and it was only like a shade darker. Like it was almost not worth it. So I might have to do black and something else just to kick it in a different direction. So, but I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up.
I think you should just go for it. I think it depends on the styling. And I also think in this day and age, people are really excited to see a UPS worker. So.
It's true.
It's true. Like that celebrity at my house. Yeah, it's true. I'll be beloved.
I get excited every time somebody walks up to my door. They're either bringing me food or something I ordered off of something.
It's the best feeling.
It is.
Oh my gosh, I know. Oh, I've never seen one so many times during this
quarantine. I know. Seriously.
We all feeling properly inspired for our fall and winter basics?
I mean, it's like 93 degrees in the room I'm in right now because I didn't want fan noise. So I'm working on it.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah. I'm feeling approximately the same.
Yeah.
I know it is hard. We have like probably 2 more months of pretty high heat here in Colorado. So, but it's probably, that's why you plan it now. And I don't know, get inspired, and maybe you'll be ready by the time it actually does get cooler.
Yeah. I just need to make sure I haven't worn every single summer thing that I've made yet. There's still a couple pieces that I haven't worn yet. So once I wear those, then
you'll be ready.
I think I even might make a few more summer things too.
Oh, I'm definitely making some more summer things. All right. All of this is a long and complicated way of me trying to segue into our Sew and Tell segment. No, don't apologize. I'm just like, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this work. This is not happening. Okay. Sew and Tell. We love
Segues are harder than
SewJo. We love Sew and Tell is the podcast, and SewJo is the thing that we're going to do now. And that is the one where we talk about what's giving us our sewing mojo, what's inspiring us at the moment. So I'm going to call on Meg first.
Ooh, well, I'm actually just looking at it. I've had a Tiffany jumpsuit cut out in silk for a while now, and I'm so excited to sew it. I don't think I've sewn a new jumpsuit yet this year. I think I just sewed so many last year, and I've been wearing them all, but I'm excited to get a new jumpsuit in the scene. So love that jumpsuit.
What kind of silk is it, and what color? So curious.
It's gonna sound really weird. It's not. It's just like a 100. It's like a silky, like a silk charm. It's like really luxurious. I got it from Minerva Craft, and it has like portraits of giraffes and ostrich heads, but like really like royal look. It's the strangest print. That's why I was so here, Julian.
We're gonna need a picture of this in the show notes.
I know. I'm gonna. It's right here. Can you hand me that? That thing right there. Yes. I know it's all pinny. Can you give it to me?
My daughter very specifically wants to be a zookeeper. She would steal it off your body.
Oh my gosh! Look at that.
Giraffe zookeeper.
I know.
With like doilies.
Hilarious.
There's like doily frames.
That's amazing.
I know. So it's silk and it's like grays and blacks. Anyways, yeah. So that's my SewJo.
So yes, Meg is going to have to put a picture of that in the show notes so everybody can see it because it's amazing. All right, silk jumpsuit. Adrianna, how about you? What are you up to sewing lately?
Oh, I don't want to follow that.
No.
Oh no.
So anyone who's been following me knows like my husband ended up being gone for 19 months and got back right like the day that COVID started. And so we're rediscovering one another.
Wow.
In a very special time where we're both working from home with all of our children.
Oh,
so
man.
one of the things that I remembered is that he really loves paper products and I really hate them. So I'm in the process of making a lot of very usable napkins, which are not pretty, but it's just so nice to have them on hand.
Oh,
and he's getting used to using them. He's like, wait, so it's okay if I wipe this up with it? I'm like, yes, like that's what it's there for. So we're all on the same page now, you know, marital reconciliation through fabric napkins. But I did buy some nicer linen to make some that were like more for company. And I really feel like I'm going to have to miter and hem those correctly instead of just serging around the edges. So that's going to take up a lot of time, but I feel like it's necessary. Not exciting.
Yeah. But still.
It's a basic.
Yeah, I need to totally. I need to get my husband on that train as well. The cloth napkin, especially with kiddos. I mean, we go through a lot of paper and just like there's a better way.
Yeah. How about you, Amanda? What's giving you your SewJo?
Well, I have two things. One is I definitely got my first little bit of fall SewJo going. I just purchased the Chris Wood Sews throw jacket, and it's a nice open layering piece. It's pretty basic to sew, and I'm excited because I have some kind of my lighter weight fabrics that I didn't get to this summer that I was thinking I would sew like an overlayer thing so I could wear them with my camisoles and things like that into the fall. And so that pattern released and I scooped it up and I'm excited to use that. But I've also been really, really inspired by the Sew and Roll hashtag, which was from, it was a group of sewists who realized that through stories largely, everybody had picked up roller skating again and kept kind of joking. I was talking with Kelly at True Bias about this, that there's, I need a roller skating capsule and there's probably a hashtag that needs to happen. And so it kind of started from there and ballooned into this really big group of people who posted last week, and everybody made kind of a special roller skating outfit. There were some amazing skater dresses. There was a leotard. I made head to toe leopard print outfits.
It was so cute, Amanda.
It was hilarious.
I need a flared legging like yesterday seeing that.
Yeah,
yours. I love it.
It was so fun. And it really, I don't know, it was fun. I realized that I need some more, especially like fall and winter, kind of workout gear, some athleisure pieces so I can keep skating, but also just to kind of connect with people on the sewing level and then this other kind of wacky hobby. And I don't know, gave me all the good vibes. And it was just so much fun.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was great.
I love it. You guys kind of made me want to get some roller skates.
You probably should, and you can go skating with us.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, Amanda and I are plotting up a golden-based skating trip at some point. So you're right there.
I love it.
As for me, I am working on my pile o' linen, and I think the next thing is probably going to be either pagosa pants or nini culottes. I'm not really sure. I've got 2 colors and 2 patterns, and I haven't quite decided which one's going which. But once I decide that, I'm gonna start working on that. So yeah. In the meantime, I woke up on, I think, Saturday morning with a whole list of things I wanted to do for fall once I finished my summer stuff. And then I promptly forgot it when I went to write it down. So, yay.
Oh, no.
It always happens.
I know. I'm like, I got some of it. Some of it's written down. And then I'm like, I swear there was more than this. But I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right, so let's move on to our Sew and Tell segment. Last week, we asked you, what's your favorite skirt style and pattern? And we got a lot of great responses, like this one from Ricky Sews, who said, I have a woven pencil skirt pattern that I drafted using a YouTube tutorial by Karina at Lifting Pins and Needles. It's totally my go-to now. Making a pattern with your measurement is life-changing. For knits, I like Mimi G's Mermaid maxi skirt tutorial.
Ooh.
I agree. Drafting for your own body is pretty awesome. If only I could make it
and
work
with skirts,
correctly.
It's pretty easy too. It's not super intimidating.
It's
right. You don't have to get the crotch curve right because there is
none. Oh yeah.
I draft skirt patterns on the fabric. I just fold it right sides together and then draw on the fabric because it's just measurements. A lot of times it's just rectangles.
Oh, yeah. Even a circle skirt's super easy to do that way, too. So we got another comment from Morella MLNR, and they said, my favorite are middies, A-line and a pencil skirt. But what I noticed after having a kid 5 years ago is that it's hard to wear a skirt and run around after him all the time. Will I ever wear skirts and high heels again? I'm sure you will.
Yes, we
I was going to say no.
Oh, really?
I know. Wear skirts all the time, Amanda.
I do, but yeah, with like chacos. We also heard from Fostering Sewing on Instagram, who said, hands down, it is the gypsum skirt by Sew Liberated. It fits all of the requirements of an elastic waistband, awesome pockets, and can be dressed up or down. I added 6 inches of depth to my pockets so I could easily fit all my mom stuff. Or Meg, it could fit a bunny. That's so great.
It needs to fit 2 bunnies now.
Seriously. You could have one on each side. It would be perfect.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, I've been meaning to try that skirt because that's me too. The pockets, elastic waistband, for sure. And that one, been sorely tempted by that one.
I feel like that's the skirt you go to after you have the kids is the chacos.
Exactly. Your pockets, your pockets get deeper.
Not to say you can never wear the high heels and pencil skirt again, but your everyday look is probably going to be along those lines.
Definitely.
For sure. And I also want to call out one comment from A Modest Flourish who said, circle skirts forever. In my opinion, the best to twirl in. And I got to agree with best to twirl in.
And high heels.
And high heels.
I am not a circle skirt person.
No?
I think that there's just too much emphasis on the waistline and I just don't have one. So I don't know. They just don't work for me. Plus I just feel like far too girly in them.
And see, I like the girly feel. So
yeah.
And I like to twirl. What can I say?
Yes, you do. That'd be good for skating. If you could do like spins and stuff, which I can't. So yeah,
you should do a circle skirt with like a skirt type thing with like biker shorts underneath. And then,
that's
like
a great idea.
Yeah,
just use leggings.
And then you twirl.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. You can do it.
It's all coming together.
Yep. All right. And so for this week, we want to ask you, what's your must-have me-made basic? Tell us your favorites, because you've heard all about ours in great detail.
Yes.
Yeah. Even more inspiration. Bring it.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Adrianna, for joining us. It was so nice to have you weigh in.
Yes, tell people where they can find you.
Oh, gosh, the pressure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored. So my website is heyjunehandmade.com. And that's also my Instagram and my Facebook. Well, that was easier than I thought.
Yeah.
Easy breezy.
So consistent.
Yeah. It was so nice to have you on. I agree. It sounds like our style is very similar.
Yeah. I'm going to be stalking your Instagram some more.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm not sure if I'm stalking yours yet or not, but I will be soon if I'm not already.
Kate's new at Instagram. We just, when she started the podcast, we're like, we got her into it.
Hashtag Kate is bad at Instagram.
Nah.
No.
And keep us posted on your skate quest if you get some skates.
Yeah,
we'll do the meetup thing.
Now. If I had friends who could take me to the emergency room, that would be great.
I'll take you. I know it. I know the roads well to the emergency room, having 3 small children.
Oh, right. Yeah.
All right. Fun episode, you guys.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and happy stitching.
Happy stitching.
For links to everything we talked about in this episode, go to our show notes page at sewdaily.com/sewandtell. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at sewandtellpodcast@goldenpeakmedia.com or visit us on Instagram at sewandtellpod. Answer the Sew and Tell question, tell us your SewJo, or just leave us some feedback. If you enjoyed our show, please subscribe on your podcasting platform of choice. And please leave us a review, ideally a good one, because that helps listeners like you find our podcast. And tell your sewing friends about us, too. Thanks for listening, and happy stitching. Sew and Tell is produced by Meg Healy, Amanda Carestio, and me, Kate Zaynard. Our consulting producer is Ron Doyle, and our executive producer is Jared Mayer.